May we be quiet, please? There is a bell for each of the 83 graduating seniors. Let's just listen to the last few toll for them. Thank you, second formers, for doing a great job, because that was done by second formers. Welcome all. I start by welcoming Groton's 6th Headmaster and my brother, Bill Polk. Welcome current and past trustees who have joined us today. Parents, families, and friends, welcome all. I begin this segment of our Prize Day ceremony by introducing our board president, Jonathan Klein, a parent of 3 sons who know the circle very well, 2 graduates, and 1 graduating today, Max. Mr. Klein assumed his duties as president of the board in 2014. Mr. Klein.
Thank you, Temba, for the introduction. Good morning, everyone, and it really is a beautiful morning after yesterday's sweatathon. We're very relieved that the weather's turned out so perfect. It's always an honor, a privilege, and an enormous pleasure for me to participate in Prize Day, as it is one of my favorite events. This year is particularly special, as I've seen this form grow up, blossom, and develop as both a parent and as president of the board. So before we go any further, let's begin by giving a huge round of applause to the form of 2018. Prize Day is very special for all of you, your families and friends. Believe me, it is a day that you will all carry with you for the rest of your lives. At the risk of repeating myself, I will touch on something that I have spoken about in previous Prize Day talks. At a college commencement, former Vice President of the United States, Joe Biden, spoke in a quintessentially Groton way when he observed that most successful people understand, and I quote, that a good life, at its core, is about being personal, being engaged. It's about being there for a friend or colleague. It's about loving someone more than yourselves. I now speak directly to the form of 2018. Today, each of you is surrounded by people who love you more than they love themselves. Today is one of those special and rare days when the most precious people in your life have gathered just to celebrate you. They all want only the best for you, are bursting with pride, and love you more than themselves. So your most crucial duty today is to show gratitude to the people who have been instrumental in getting you to this important milestone in your lives. There are many scarce resources in the world, but gratitude is not one of them. There is an inexhaustible supply, and it means a great deal to the recipient. So, form of 2018, stand up please. Turn your back to the stage. Face your parents, your families, your faculty, administration, and Groton School staff, and give them a huge and heartfelt round of applause. You may now be seated. Now, Some of you have loved your time at Groton. Others have not enjoyed your high school experience. Others have had good years and bad years. And I'm sure some of you have very mixed and complicated feelings about this place. Whatever your feelings about Groton School now, I can guarantee you that when you reflect on your Groton experience over the coming years and decades, you will grow fond of this place and appreciate so many aspects of it that are sometimes forgotten in the busy and sometimes overscheduled days around our magical circle. Certain attributes of this place will stay with you forever. The special relationships, the connection and engagement with one another, and of course with the broader community, the extraordinary quality and dedication of your teachers, morning chapel, milk and cookies, and importantly, the enjoyment of being part of an intimate environment where high standards are expected. There is no question that this place is challenging. Our acceptance rate at Groton is the lowest of our peer schools. Bottom line is, it's tough to get in here. We are determined to maintain high standards and are proud that for the incoming year, we have once again been need blind, and the acceptance rate for students needing financial aid is the same as for full pay students. Ask people involved at other schools, and you will understand that this is a major achievement. Students can now attend Groton School without regard to the financial circumstances of the family. Now, most years I say to the form, you are a special form. This year I really mean it. You are the form that has lived through grain and have seen it succeed in a way that has exceeded everyone's hopes and dreams. You've lived and breathed inclusion. Thank you also for being a key part in making the new schoolhouse a home for everyone. You're also the form that has helped us with suggestions in areas including mental health, our environmental footprint, and gender equality. Are any of you thinking of busts in the schoolroom? Unlike college, which we all know is very difficult to get a yes email to be accepted, Groton is tough even after you arrive. Believe me, for many of you, the hardest part of the academic experience is behind you. You are very well prepared for college, thanks to your Groton experience. We have asked much of you during your time at Groton, and you have been challenged inside the classroom, on the circle, and beyond. We know that you will have experienced disappointments and setbacks. Yet you are here today. You've come through with flying colors. So let's give another round of applause to the form of 2018. So as you leave the Groton bubble, we hope that you will take with you what you have learned here. I'm not referring to your encyclopedic knowledge of the various subjects that you have studied or your expertise in so many academic disciplines. I'm referring to what we hope you have absorbed more than anything else, and that is judgment and discernment. Or put another way, and touching on part of your school's mission, demonstrate character and service to others, taking integrity and honesty to every place you go in your lives. Be tolerant. Be compassionate. Try walk in the shoes of others and treat them as you would hope to be treated. This will enable you to lead a life of meaning, no matter what you do in your life beyond the circle. The Groton School community is proud of every one of you. We have complete confidence that you will continue to make us all proud in the years ahead. So, on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the entire Groton community, I salute you, the form of 2018.
Thank you very much, President Klein. I have a few words to say about a form that knows me quite well. They know us as rookies. Maybe we are still new, but we just can't fake it in front of them. Groton School is an idea where we nurture human excellence. Our pillars of scholarship, spirituality, service, and globalism undergird the platform on which we stand. This graduating class has absorbed most, if not all, the lessons represented by those pillars. This is the most convivial, inclusive, and affable form Will and I have seen in our 5 years at Groton. They simply like each other. And we don't take that for granted. So for them and for you all, we rejoice. They have grown immensely. Things have not always been rosy. I often remind them, and I reminded them several times during those thorny times, that things are never as thorny as they feel or as rosy as they look. Time will tell. With all the roses we see on them, and yes, at this point I just see roses and no thorns. We can all agree that life is going to be good with them at the helm. This could not have happened without our dear friends, the staff, especially B&G, our custodial staff, the dining hall staff, the faculty, and everyone else who has touched them. These are the folks who have looked after them and prepared the grounds, buildings, fed them everything from pizza to bagels with Cheryl. Therefore, it's an honor to present to you these graduating seniors of the class of 2018, a form that occupied a front row seat as we opened the schoolhouse, launched Grain, even Grace, Cheryl's Bagel Cafe downstairs. A little unknown fact, when I came to Groton, I said, I'm bringing those bagels from Andover with me. This form is accomplished in many ways. With some disappearing, rest assured, they are not forgotten. They are also the smallest form I've seen graduate. But they carry a punch. And it's a punch without ethanol. They advocated for the addition of female bus in the schoolroom, and the trustees responded in the affirmative. They marched, they protested, and they danced. And they graduate as we bid farewell to our stalwarts in the profession. Hugh Sackett, 63 years as a teacher. Jonathan Choate, 52 years. Beth Van Gelder, 39 years. And Bill Maguire, 33 years. 187 years among 4 people. They and other faculty and staff will be acknowledged properly and roasted by the community at the end of the school year and by the trustees afterwards. So could we all just, for a moment, give them a round of applause and make it rousing? Everybody. Now, it is my pleasure to turn things over to your Student Prize Day speaker. Without much further ado, I present Christian. Carson.
Good morning. To our Headmaster, Board of Trustees, distinguished speaker, parents, faculty, students, and friends, thank you for being with us today. I promise to keep this brief so you can spend your afternoons doing more important things, like taking 7 trillion photos of your nephew or daughter. I'd also like to thank whoever decided for some godforsaken reason not to vet this speech before I delivered it. For all you know, I'm about to stand up here and launch into an hour-long advertisement for breakfast cereal. But that's a speech for another time, preferably one when I am supported by a hearty and nutritious breakfast of Kellogg's All Brand. So, the day has arrived. We are a scant hour away from proudly brandishing our diplomas on this stage. We have reached the one time in life where I will ever need or want to wear white pants. All indicators point to graduation, yet I hope I'm not alone in saying that it doesn't quite feel like our prize day. It feels like today is some sort of cosmic scale clerical error, as though any moment someone might tap me on the shoulder and tell me there has been a grave mistake. And I'd accept that without a second thought. If, however, we put aside for the moment the question of whether it's truly our prize day, today has been excellent. It's finally our turn. For one day, the brilliant spotlight of the school's attention turns onto our form. We are now judged to be so important that we get to sit in our very own little island of white folding chairs and turn our noses up at you plebeians in the other white folding chairs. But enough wallowing in the ceremony. We can all take a moment now to look back, inhale proudly, exhale even more proudly, and reflect on this form in the times we've had here. And I happen to believe that the best way to do this is to examine the things we've cared about. The nature of Groton is that we will dedicate ourselves to many things. Academics, of course, but also to our passions and to the school itself. As Paul Michaud said in his chapel talk, whether or not we admit it, what lies underneath that dedication is caring, and often quite deeply. I first began to think about this on a cold, sunny winter morning in Cambridge. It was long weekend, and I had called a friend of mine from the form of 2017 to meet for breakfast. When we had ordered our coffees, we sat down. I asked her how college was going, and she said, very pleasantly, I might add, quote, "Nobody cares about you at college. I'm pretty sure I could die in my dorm room without anyone noticing." End quote. Now, I was taken aback because that sounds horrifying to me. And I get that part of the appeal of college is living independently, but from where I'm standing, that kind of independence sounds positively heartless. Later that day, I got to thinking about that conversation. I realized that mindset, the mindset of expecting to be cared for, is an eminently Grotonian one. I don't know where it happens, whether sometime in third form or before the admission process even begins, but I've observed that just about everyone in this community defaults to a state of caring about other people. We all know the sort of care I'm describing. Roommates who can always find time to talk. English teachers who write full-page comments on essays regardless of the amount of effort we put into them. A history teacher who took time out of his sabbatical year to exchange emails with us about what turned out to be our astonishingly mediocre research paper. Not that we're bitter. The point of all this being that it is impossible to escape being cared about here. Now, because it seems to be a graduation speech tradition to extend an insignificant turn of phrase into a metaphor, I will do so here. We cannot drop dead in our rooms because there is a seemingly never-ending line of students and faculty with defibrillators in hand. And every time we nearly see the light, there is a loving yet firm slap to bring us back to life. And when we are cared about like this, we learn somehow to turn our own care towards others. I happen to believe that the form of 2018 stands out in this respect. We care for one another deeply, as Mr. Maqubela said. I say this not because of any particular great act of caring, but rather because of the small ways we show care for one another. Take the way just about everyone in our form eats together at the long table in the dining hall, or the way we closed ranks and maintained solidarity in the trying times of fifth form. These are all quite small gestures of care, but they make me proud to be a member of a form that is so considerate and so candidly kind. Now, this is the point where convention would dictate that I come up with some tenuous justification to tell a funny story with minimal relation to the point of the speech. But I, being a teenager with a wired-in hatred of convention, will give it to you straight. Here is a stupid little anecdote from my time at Groton, with just about zero significance beyond the fact that I find it funny. And you can try to dissect this story until you can drag some battered pulp of a meeting out of it. Or you could just enjoy the story. I'll leave it up to you. This story begins on the night of the 2016 presidential election in Fernandez dorm. It also happened to be George Altshuler's birthday, and he had just bought Mexican food for a feed. At the end of that night, it happened that there were around 12 servings of flan left in squat plastic deli containers. And for those of you who don't know what flan is, it's sort of a firmly set custard topped with caramel. So since the polls were just starting to close, George said that he would eat one flan for every swing state that Trump won. It was funny. At first. As the first couple of states went red, George, ever the trooper, laughed and dutifully ate his flan. As we entered the wee hours of the morning, however, and more results came in, George's amusement turned to horror. As he looked at the thoroughly read electoral map and the corresponding tower of flan he had promised to consume. You could actually pinpoint the exact moment on George's face when he realized that he was in for an unpleasant evening. Meanwhile, the rest of us in the room were laughing at George. And sometime around flan number 6, we absolved George of his flan-eating duty, lest we become complicit in what was rapidly developing into a localized health crisis. So there's my story that really isn't about caring. For all you literary types, good luck trying to tease meaning out of that. And now, if you'll indulge me in another change of topic, I'll return once more to wallowing in the ceremony, because I want to talk about what comes after today, namely, that things here pretty much go on the same as normal. Groton's blisteringly efficient schedule halts only briefly before lurching back into exams for lower formers and the like. And that's part of the reason I think Prize Day is so sad for the senior class. It's the first time we confront the fact that we never owned this place. We've only had a 4-year lease on it. Take our dorm rooms. We talk about our rooms, and we decorate them and fill them with all the detritus we heap up over our time here. But when the posters come down and the cardboard boxes are sent away, we have to realize that we didn't own the rooms to begin with. Our perception of uniqueness, the idea that our grade is the eternal focal point of the school, is shattered. And it's a tough thing to realize that we aren't at the center of anything at all, save our own subjective experiences. And I've been giving a lot of thought to that in this past week and wondering how to reckon with it. Now, just about every literary reference that could conceivably describe high school or high school graduations has been bludgeoned to death by 18-year-olds like myself who take it upon themselves to describe life in 10-minute speeches. It is with pleasure and a brick in my hand that I will bludgeon one more. It's something Kurt Vonnegut wrote that I'm partial to. Quote, "Life is not over, but the story is." End quote. I find this quotation to be of great use in making sense of Prize Day. Today's not death. It is not the end. We will continue living. But it's a disservice not to acknowledge the end of the story, the end of these 4 years that have shaped us and developed us and given us so many memories with which to move forward. The story, I assert, is one shaped by caring. The people we have become are shaped almost entirely by those who cared about us and those we cared for. The times we chose to invest ourselves in things and people are the ink with which these stories are written. Please don't get the idea that I'm up here to dispense advice. That would require a longer life than mine and an amount of existential cachet that I can't hope to accumulate anytime soon. My giving advice would be the rhetorical equivalent of a first grader feeding paste to his 82 classmates. What I will say is something I know to be absolutely certain, that our form, the form of 2018, will pay forward the gift of caring that we have been given here. Through college and later, we will keep one another from a collective death in our rooms by choosing to care. We will continue life, but keep the story in our back pockets. And when we have left here, when nothing remains but our names engraved on a couple of plaques, we will be able to take solace in the fact that the care that we have both given and been received will live well past us. To the form I am so lucky to call my own, thank you for everything. Please continue to be your brilliant selves. Keep living, keep loving, and keep caring. Thank you.
We now turn our attention to the prizes that are awarded today. Some were awarded yesterday. While she was growing up, Elechi Egwekwe used to call me Grandpa Mac. In 1990, her father, Emeka, was a star in my AP chemistry class. And the relationship was strong then and even stronger today. However, I've been wanting to say this because I'm very honest. Lech, you didn't make it that far. You didn't achieve what your father achieved, chemistry-wise. So when she came to Groton, she continued to call me Grandpa for a week. And then abruptly, she stopped. It was awkward. She would just mumble every time she was referring to me. Elechi is one of the most accomplished leaders of a form with whom I've had the pleasure to work. At 11:30 a.m. every Thursday, without fail, she would come with no errand to my office to touch base. All I said to her was that her job was to make her form and her school look proud. Sometimes it seemed as if she wanted to make me look good. The way she carries herself, you'd never know she was the youngest in the form. There were times when I thought a lot was asked of her, and she shouldered her responsibilities with aplomb. Therefore, it is a privilege and an honor to present the Charles Lanier Appleton Prize to Elechi Sherry Egwekwe. Malik Guy has captured our imagination in how he confidently carries himself, sometimes as if he's a peacock. Malik has a presence. From time to time, he's had us in rapt attention in the Campbell Performing Arts Center, whether this was singing a cappella or stage in theater. He wants to make sure that when he is presenting, you are eating out of his hands. With a flair for drama and the dramatic, and a voice that resembles a beautiful singing bird, he was so busy that I did not see him as often as I saw his co-senior prefect. Dramatic moments such as surprise holiday and roll call announcements were his specialty. With Elechi and the two magnificent house prefects, Magishiva and Richie Sentry, the school was in very good hands. We shall not soon forget how they were able to keep their cards close to their chests in pulling off a surprise holiday that shocked the students and faculty alike. It gives me joy to present the Charles Lanier Appleton Prize to Usman Malik Guy. Those two prizes were awarded to two members of the sixth form who have greatly served the school. And I was in touch with the family of the Appletons, the Appleton family, who wanted to know how we are doing. So I'll tell them they did a very good job. The Asma Gul Hassan Form of 1993 Circle Voice Journalism Prize acknowledges outstanding leadership in creating, editing, and producing the school's newspaper. This prize goes to two students, Annie Colorado Mansfeld and Christian Carson. The Butler Prize for Excellence in English is given by Mrs. Gilbert Butler and is awarded to two students, Nyla Pierce and Paul Michaud. The Perry History Prize is given by Mrs. Eliza Endicott Perry to the best scholars in the field of history. This year's winners are Roselle Lovell Smith and Eric Yang. The Bishop Julius Atwood Literature and History Prize is given by the late Right Reverend Julius Atwood to the best scholar in the combined fields of history and literature. This prize is awarded to Christian Carson. The Laura J. Coolidge Form of 1985 Poetry Prize is given in her memory by her husband, Peter Tush, to a member of the upper school who has shown a love for the power of poetic expression and a sustained interest in writing and reading poetry. This year's winner is Michael Senko. The Tronick Award is given in honor of Michael G. Tronick and is awarded to members or a member of the sixth form who has made especially good use of the resources of the library and shown a strong interest in the life of the mind. This sixth former is Jamie Jiang. The George Livingston Nichols Prize for the best essay on a historical subject is awarded to An Nguyen. The Rogers V. Scudder Classics Prize is given in memory of Roger Scudder, a distinguished teacher of classics at Groton and a beloved member of this community. This prize goes to Max Klein. The Franklin D. Roosevelt Debating Prize is given in memory of Franklin D. Roosevelt, form of 1900, by W. Averill Harriman, form of 1909. This year's two winners are Kevin Zhao and Michael Zhao. The Endicott Peabody Memorial Prize is given in memory of the Reverend Endicott Peabody by the Sixth Form of 1945 for excellence in the field of religion and ethics. This prize is awarded to Paul Michaud. The Isaac Jackson Memorial Prize is awarded to the best mathematics scholar in the upper school. This prize goes to Catherine Chow. The Thorpe Science Prize is given by Mrs. Warren Thorpe to the member of the sixth form who has been the most successful in developing an appreciation of the spirit and meaning of science, and this sixth former is Charlie Ratos. The New England Science Teachers Award goes to the student who, through personal initiative, has done the most to promote awareness of science or technology. This year's prize goes to James Howard. The World Language Prize goes to Jan Andres Davidov. The Hudson Music Prize is given by the Friends of William Clark Hudson, form of 1956, to show the recognition of outstanding effort and progress in music during the school year. This prize goes to two students, Candela Park and Max Klein. The Dennis Crowley Drama Prize is given by Todd C. Bottles, form of 2001, to a member of the sixth form who has made the greatest contribution to the theater program. This person is James Howard. The Upper School Shop Prize is awarded to Tim Hoops. The Anita Andres Rogerson Dance Prize goes to Candela Park. The Photography Prize goes to Ben Kalmas. The Cornelia Emery Frothingham Athletics Prize is given by her parents and awarded to a member of the sixth form who has demonstrated her all-round athletic ability and has shown exemplary qualities of leadership and sportsmanship. This prize goes to Alina Baharazian. The Reginald Fink Junior Medal is given by the sixth form of 1928 in memory of First Lieutenant Reginald Fink Jr. and is awarded to a member of the sixth form who has shown in athletics his qualities of perseverance, courage, and unselfish sportsmanship. This year's medal goes to Noah Aaron. The Elizabeth and Marjorie Peabody Award is given to a member of the sixth form, other than a school prefect, whose contributions to the community demonstrate sensitivity, strength of character, leadership, and integrity. This year's winner is Josie Fulton. The William V. Larkin Form of 1972 Award is given to the Groton student who best exemplifies courage and perseverance in meeting a challenge or overcoming adversity. This prize is awarded to Ben Milliken. The final award, the Carol and John King Hodges Prize, is given in memory of Carol Hodges, form of 1905, and John King Hodges, form of 1910, in recognition of his accomplishments, thoughtfulness, and common touch, which have earned him respect from his peers and faculty. I would like to honor Charlie Vratos. Now I would like to introduce Mrs. Maqubela, who will honor us by introducing our distinguished Prize Day speaker.
Phumzile Mlambo-Ngcuka is United Nations Under-Secretary General and Executive Director of UN Women. She was sworn into office on 19th of August 2013 and brings a wealth of experience and expertise to this position, having devoted her career to issues of human rights, equality, and social justice. Ms. Mlambo-Ngcuka has worked in government and civil society and with the private sector and was actively involved in the struggle to end apartheid in our home country of South Africa. From 2005 to 2008, she served as Deputy President of South Africa, overseeing programs to combat poverty and bring the advantages of a growing economy to the poor, with a particular focus on women. Prior to this, she served as Minister of Minerals and Energy from 1999 to 2005, and Deputy Minister in the Department of Trade and Industry from 1996 to 1999. She was a Member of Parliament from 1994 to 1996, as part of South Africa's first democratic government. Ms. Mlambo-Ngcuka began her career as a teacher and gained international experience as a coordinator at the World YWCA in Geneva, where she established a global program for young women. She is the founder of the Mlambo Foundation, which supports leadership and education. A long-time champion of women's rights, she is affiliated with several organizations devoted to education, women's empowerment, and gender equality. She has completed her PhD on education and technology at the University of Warwick, United Kingdom. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Mlambo-Ngcuka.
Thank you for that kind introduction, and congratulations to the fall of 2018. Headmaster Temba Maqubela, the Board of Trustees, and people who serve schools and institutions like this as a matter of public service, thank you for this tradition. To the graduates, to faculty and staff, to parents, family, friends, well-wishers who are here, ladies and gentlemen, I would like all of us to say congratulations to the class of 2018. Today, we celebrate the culmination of your years of hard work. We thank the parents, families, peers, and friends who have supported you along the way. Your teachers and staff who enhanced your learning experience, your headmaster and trustees for their leadership, and of course, we celebrate you and the many other people we will never know who have inspired you. I am a teacher by training, even though my career path has taken me in directions I could never have imagined. But my few years of teaching were my best years ever. So being here today for me is very nostalgic. I'm also a lifelong learner. which you also must aim to be, so that today you graduate, but you never stop learning. Because in a radically changing world, there will always be something you need to learn and discover in order to be the best version of yourself. I went back to school in my late 50s to do my doctorate after I had already been a member of parliament, a deputy minister, a minister, and a deputy president, with very young people in my class, and a lot of stairs to climb and aching knees. But when I was in class, I was inspired, especially by young people, and I'm better for that. So this is commencement, not an end. Your exciting journey is just beginning. And may I recommend that whatever life throws at you, stay a learner. Always reach for real knowledge, for truth, for depth, and do it with humility and integrity. Remember that life is more nuanced than what can be understood from a few characters on social media, and far too complex to rely on information sources you can not always verify. Take time to consider facts and use these facts to make the world a better place for yourself and for those around you. But all in all, what a time to live in, and what a time to be young. Your generation already has many names: Gen Z, iGen, post-millennial, and the first generation born into technology who may not even know what it is like to be unconnected. Do you know how it is like to be unconnected? No. We do. But you are living with other generations who had different experiences growing up. Respect and embrace those experiences because they are part of your heritage. Learn to communicate, making time to be close to the people you care about and those who care for you. Be sure that you communicate beyond tapping the screen. Be interested in their well-being so that you'll enjoy lasting and deep friendship and family ties. There is a much bigger world out there that you are part of. Be part of that world. Be part of defining the path and the purpose of your generation in that new world. Remember that in every generation, the world has a possibility to redefine itself and to be better. In 2015, the world came together to adopt 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which are meant to help us to make our world better together. These goals were mapped out to achieve peace, to protect the planet, to realize prosperity for many more people, to enhance and improve power relations between men and women. We now have only 12 years left to achieve these goals, which means much of their success will depend on you who are now going to be young adults working together with other determined adults and oldies like ourselves. The United Nations needs you as partners to help to implement these goals. I do not have to convince you, I'm sure, about the need in the world for peace, for better caring of the planet, for ending poverty, and for much better gender relations. These Sustainable Development Goals and SDGs become part of your heritage. Today, you will receive these pins, which are the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. We give this to you to give the world to you, so that you remember this day as your passport to a bigger world. Now, one of the important and the most compelling reasons to have developed these goals was to fight together to end poverty. This is because collectively, as this generation, which has your grandparents, your parents, your peers, we are the first generation ever with a real possibility to end extreme poverty. And this includes poverty in the US, which at 25% of child poverty is one of the highest in developing world, according to the UN High Commissioners for Human Rights. We also are the last generation with a real possibility to address the impact of climate change and to mitigate the worrying impact that is on the horizon, because there isn't a planet B. We need everybody to work together on this endeavor. You are also the first generation with a real possibility to change gender relations in a systemic and a sustainable way. In the midst of the Me Too movement, you have seen the prevalence of sexual exploitation of women and sexual harassment, that even the most famous celebrities are not safe, and you have learned also that there is a price to pay for such behavior. So as young women, you know that no one has a right to exploit and to abuse you. And as young men, you also know that you do not embark on any actions that would put you in disrepute, and that there is consequences for such behavior. And together, you make a team of young people, of a generation that can redefine these relations. Again, you are the Again, you, more than any other generation, understand that you do not have to live in a war zone to be exposed to deadly violence, and that the absence of a war is not equal to peace, safety, and security. So together, and you participating, we have to attend to those who feel disaffected in society, who may be prone to violent behavior. These are the actions that make you part and parcel of implementing the Sustainable Development Goals. You are also privileged to have good education that will enable you to reflect on these challenges and contribute to changing the world for the better. At the same time, you must enjoy being young. As a young person, you are not required to shoulder the problems, all the problems of the world on your shoulder, and put your own life on hold. As Nelson Mandela once said, people must stop treating him like a saint. He is only a sinner who is trying. And he said, and saints are boring. They're nice people, but he said they're boring. So we are not asking you to be a saint. This was Mandela, the vintage Mandela, being humble, but also legitimizing work-life balance and insisting that he is not perfect. He is not perfect. He is just an ordinary human being. So to you, we are just asking you to be good human beings, to be kind, to care for others, but also, hey, to have fun. We also ask you to be interested in deliberations on questions that are important for society, such as the environment, feminism, peace, matters of faith, and also take part in sports, in activities that brings out your creativity, and have a love life. Parents, we agree. Yes. All of it is important for your growth. Above all, when you go to college, remember that academic excellence is a priority. As young people, you are a power block, which means that you can force change in the world. There are 1.8 billion young people in the world today, the biggest population of young people ever in history. Right now, young people are leading extraordinary movements around the world and advocating for an end to business as usual on all fronts. Here in the US, we have seen in the wake of Parkland, Florida school shooting, how young people have made their voices louder and audible. In the Gambia, a young woman, Jaha Dukare, who is a survivor of child marriage and female genital mutilation, has stepped out to protect other women from these harmful practices and violation. When she lived in the US, she engaged the Obama administration, and because of her, a law was passed in the US, making it illegal for parents to bring children to the US for female genital mutilation. In her own country, in the Gambia, she has also made the same contribution, ensuring that a law is passed and that child marriage is illegal. Malala, who is known to many of you, I'm sure, after surviving gunshots from extremists who do not want girls to have access to education, she became a fighter for girls' education. Because of her fight, many girls around the world now have access to education. And in Ireland, just last week, they repealed the 8th Amendment in their constitution that bans abortion. The exit poll there showed that it was the young people who participated in large numbers and influenced the vote. In the UK, when the UK had a referendum on whether to remain in the EU, young people did not participate in their large numbers. As a result, we now have Brexit. And this is detrimental and worrisome to young people. So whether you are active or inactive, as a young person with the numbers you have, there is consequences. You can change history and you can make your views and your vision become parts of society. We also know now, as I have mentioned, about the high prevalence of violence against women, which includes domestic violence, cyberbullying, child marriage, and in this generation, we have to commit to end all these practices. We must make sure that the 150 million girls who are at risk of being married before their 18th birthday by 2030 have a different history altogether. In the US, there are only 3 states in which child marriage is illegal. It is Virginia, Texas, and New York. As a result, we have seen an increase in the number of girls that are getting married before the age 18, and the consequence of that, they are destined for poverty. And we have seen it when they turn 20, especially when they become mothers. Just between the year 2000 and 2015, 200,000 girls were married in the US before the age of 18. This is a fight for your generation. We must make sure that we turn it around. We must make sure that in the US, all states pass the necessary legislation, just like we are fighting all over the world for this to be. In Malawi, it was the young girls and women who fought, who protested until the constitution was amended to end child marriage. In all of these issues, there is a big role for men and boys. So as young men, we invite you to step up and also fight for equality. We have a campaign called He for She, which is about men who stand for gender equality. Men and males like President Trudeau, who are part of this movement, who are proud to say, I am a feminist. Are you guys proud to say? Good. So just because of that, I have brought you He for She pins, which again you will have for every nice guy in this room. You will be able to get your He for She pin. So here we are. We are in a position as a generation to reduce poverty, to participate in working for peace, to protect our planet and environment. You have to make the choice what it is that your generation will focus on. The Sustainable Development Goals provide you with a menu of choices of the actions you can take. Frantz Fanon says, each generation must discover its mission, fulfill it, or betray it. We hope you can choose a mission of your generation and fulfill it to align with the aspirations of the Sustainable Development Goals. To us, parents, grandparents, I feel it is our responsibility to make sure that when you enter the labor force, there will be no unequal pay between men and women. Am I right, parents? This, we owe you. We also expect that on your part, you will make sure that you'll be high achievers so that when you too become managers and leaders in the institution that you will lead with integrity, and equality will be high on your agendas. Your voices, your votes, and your activism counts. Make the fight for justice part of your value system. But remember, you don't have to be boring. You don't have to be a saint, and it can still be as great as Mandela. You are a generation that can change the world. You have the power, the technology, and the numbers. Go out now and fulfill the mission of your generation. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy President. I wish that deputy could be thrown away because to me, you are our president. Especially for saying you don't have to be dour and dull to be involved in creating the conditions for freedom for others. So students, you can have fun whether you're dancing or not, just make sure that you're for everybody. That's inclusion. Thank you again, Deputy President. Now, the moment you've been waiting for. The presentation. Noah Augustine Aaron, cum laude. George W. M. Altschuler, magna cum laude. Alina Christine Bakarosian, magna cum laude. Alexa Grace Beckstein, cum laude. Brianna Mary Calareso, magna cum laude. Liam Murray Calder, magna cum laude. Benjamin Joseph Kalmas, magna cum laude. Noelia Denise Cabajal, cum laude. Benjamin Zhu Cardinal, magna cum laude. Ryan Edward Carr. Christian Lee Carson, summa cum laude. Gavel Self Casamaja, cum laude. Lucy Patricia O'Hagan Shadfield, summa cum laude. Margaret Aldrich Shiva, summa cum laude. Jonathan Chang, magna cum laude. Joseph Arthur Collins. Ann Peabody Colorado Mansfeld, magna cum laude. Nicholas Carlos David. Jan Andres Davidov Simons, summa cum laude. Gabriel Jianying Depre, cum laude. Blair Naomi Donoghue, magna cum laude. Kai Robin Dueñas, magna cum laude. Elechi Sherry Eguekwe. Margaret Mather Fay. Tyler Lockwood Forbes. Margot Elliott French, cum laude. Josie Drake Fulton, cum laude. Usman Malik Guy. Rosalie Alexa Gill. Samuel Richardson, Jurian, cum laude. Randip Alexander Singh Grewal II, magna cum laude. Daniel James Heritage, cum laude. Mark Edward Heritage, cum laude. Timothy Rima Hoops, cum laude. James Cook Howard, magna cum laude. Martha Catherine Hyde, magna cum laude. Jamie Jiang, cum laude. Angelina Josephine Joyce, magna cum laude. Maximilian Joseph Klein, magna cum laude. Jonathan Stewart Lamson, cum laude. Sanga Clara Lee, summa cum laude. Macy Starr Lipkin, cum laude. Roselle Mary O'Dane Lovell Smith, magna cum laude. Samir Kumar Malhotra, cum laude. Paul Gerard Malone III, cum laude. Miles Emerson Maxon. Joseph Lyle McCammon, magna cum laude. Leila Camelia Suzuki McDermott, magna cum laude. Imani Miriam McGregor, cum laude. Lanston Grace McKeon, cum laude. Paul Powers Michaud, cum laude. I shall do that again. Paul Powers Michaud, magna cum laude. Benjamin Charles Milliken, magna cum laude. Jason Carl Louis Montima, cum laude. Addison Grace Newsom. Ann Diu Nguyen, summa cum laude. Nina Antonia Norton, cum laude. Claudia Ho Ching Wei, summa cum laude. Candela Park, magna cum laude. Sanhu Park. Charles Bonner Pierce, cum laude. Andrew Keith Pearson. Arabella Ward Peters, cum laude. Naila Imani Sekai Juliet Pierce, cum laude. Olivia Wild Porter, magna cum laude. Jai Chiao, summa cum laude. Andrew Ottavio Razeri, magna cum laude. Aidan Christopher Riley, cum laude. Mary Margaret Sabatel. Richard Timmins Sentry, cum laude. Cameron James Schmidt, cum laude. Gregory David Seagal, cum laude. Charles Michael Senko, magna cum laude. Dong Min Shin, cum laude. Thomas Thierry. Charles Yu San, summa cum laude. Rohan Rubin Vaki, summa cum laude. Charles Robert Ratos, summa cum laude. Alexander Gray Waxman, magna cum laude. Kevin Gu Zhao, summa cum laude. Michael Gu Zhao, summa cum laude. Eric Qingyuan Yang, magna cum laude. George Haoshan Jai, cum laude. Becky Zhang, summa cum laude. This concludes the formal presentations of diplomas. Using a well-known isiZulu translated phrase, hamba kahle. It gives me great pleasure to say, go well. Students, cell phone. Whose cell phone is this? Sixth formers.